Yeah, fashion is very fast, but you have to seize the moment to sell the bag when it's still popular. If you wait till it's out of fashion, it's just going to be a lot more difficult to sell and you won't get as much money back for it. Hey guys, welcome to my channel. I'm Jess. I wanted to talk about bags that I think are at peak value now that are going to not be as easy to sell later down the line. You guys know that I work at a consignment store at the moment. I work at the Paris Fair and I see every day people bringing their bags, selling bags. And definitely over the last few years, I've seen a lot of changes in the market and what bags are trending. Certain bags that went for more value a few years ago now don't go for as much. Like, for example, the Chanel 19. I know it's one of those bags that was very popular for, you know, in 2020, 2021. And now it seems like that bag is a little bit slower, even though it's a very practical bag from Chanel. It's bags like the 25 now that are going strong, or even, you know, something like something from the Murakami collection that is currently trending. If there's a bag in your collection that you've just bought, that you're not sure about, that you think, oh, maybe I should sell it, these are the bags that I think you should sell now before you wait like another 5 years, because I think you're going to get the most money back for them now as opposed to in a few years. I'm trying to play around with this scarf, but I don't really like the look of it in this video with like this. I think I look like a cowboy, so I think actually I'm going to wear it like, I think this is cuter. I should have worn it like this in the video. Oh, so first bag is the Chanel 22. This is a bag that came out in 2022. It's been trending for quite some time. You know, this hobo rubbish bag kind of style. A lot of brands did it. Actually, Celine released their teddy bag well before Chanel did their 22. There's many brands that do this kind of silhouette. Even I think Balenciaga, Hermes even has kind of like a backpack kind of in this style. But the Chanel 22 is the one that I think really took off because of that signature Chanel lettering on it. And, you know, ambassadors like Jennie from Blackpink really, I think, encourage people to buy that bag as well. And I think during, you know, like the pandemic and all that, a lot of people were dressing a little bit more casually after that, and, you know, track pants, just like laid back cool style, which is still totally like a thing. I think people still like to dress very comfortably. But the Chanel 22, it retails now for like $10,000, and I've seen them on the secondhand market for $7,000 to $8,000. I do think that in the next few years, these bags will not sell for $7,000 to $8,000. They might be selling for $5,000 to $6,000. This is just one of my predictions. I saw a similar thing happen with the Chanel Gabrielle bag. When it first came out, within those first few years, you used to get like almost your money back on it. It wouldn't sell for over retail, but you used to get pretty close to your money on it, particularly in the black color. But now those bags are really hard to sell. Even bags like the Chanel 19 are now getting harder to sell. So I think the Chanel 22, if you bought it, you're not loving it, I think don't wait, sell it now. I think it's still a very popular style and you'll get more money back for it now than if you wait another 2 or 3 years. The next bag that's really hot at the moment is the Celine Triomphe bag. I think the Triomphe for Celine at the moment is probably their hottest bag, and on the secondhand market, you can actually price them pretty high compared to some of the other Celine's bags, like the Phantom or the luggage or the belt bag. Now, these other kind of older styles from Celine, or even the 16 bag, they tend to lose a lot more value. But the Triomphe, it tends to not lose as much value. I think because that logo was kind of like that Triomphe motif was super in, and it still is very in. People love the belt. They just love that gold kind of hardware. And I think like the Triomphe bag in itself is a very practical style, but I don't know if in like 3 years or so it's still going to have that longevity. The retail price is very high. And on the secondhand market, it does lose a few $1,000s, but not as much as if you compare to some of other Celine's bags. So if you are not sure about this style, if you have it in your collection and you think you want to sell it, I wouldn't wait a few years, because I don't think it's going to go up in value. I think it's actually at its peak popularity now. So I would offload that bag now. That is just my personal prediction. Next, guys, a little bit controversial, is the Louis Vuitton P9 Speedy. Now, this bag, I think it's like one of those pinnacle kind of aspirational Louis Vuitton bags to have at the moment. You know, Pharrell became the creative director, like, when was it, like 1 or 2 years ago now? I don't know, guys, time flies. But he, I think, has brought a lot of kind of like fun to Louis Vuitton, particularly, well, in the men's category. And even a lot of women are very much drawn to the men's Louis Vuitton bags because, you know, the P9 comes in these vibrant colors, and it's marketed as like a very luxurious leather, something that is in a classic silhouette with a twist, and that it's really great quality and all that. But the price point is, in my opinion, really ridiculous. It's like $15,000 in Australia, and it's very limited and hard to get. Now, there's a lot of hype around it at the moment. I see a lot of pictures of it on Instagram, kind of styled in these funky ways with all these bag charms, which is very much of the moment. Now, I've been loving bag charms for a very long time, guys. So the bag charms thing, I think, comes and goes, but I will always love a good bag charm. And I mean, with any of these bags, if you own any of the bags I'm mentioning today, if you still love these bags, then keep them, obviously. But it's just, if you don't love it and you're thinking to wait to sell it in the future, I think they're at their peak value now. And the P9 Speedy, I think, is at its peak value now. I don't think it's a bag that has a lot of longevity. When I went to Japan, I already saw quite a few P9 Speedies in different secondhand stores, and they were priced below retail price. You know, 13,000, 12,000, even 11,000 I saw. In Australia, it retails for 15. And I know people try and sell this above retail, and perhaps in a different market, maybe in the US market, you can sell it higher. But I don't know. I think it's kind of a thing that's very much trending now, and I wouldn't hesitate to sell it if you don't love it. Honestly, I think it's at its peak value now. Next is the Hermes Mini Garden Party. This bag, contrary to all the other bags I'm talking about, does at the moment sell for a huge premium, and it's a huge premium for this kind of bag. The Garden Party has not been trending, I don't think, for a few years. It's always seen as a very entry-level bag, something that is very plain. I have a Garden Party myself in the size 30, and I've even noticed that these are starting to become more expensive on the secondhand market, whereas, you know, 2 or 3 years ago, you can pick them up for $1,000 to $2,000 under retail. I picked this one up for around $4,000, I think, maybe 2 years ago. But now something similar I've seen going for $5,000 to $6,000, which is really crazy. But particularly the mini one, the Neo one, I've seen that selling for $9,000, $9,500, and the retail is $6,000 something. So you can sell these bags at a premium, and I think it's a trend. I don't think that this bag in like 3 years is going to sell for like $9,000. I think it's actually going to sell for $6,000, maybe even less. So if you own this bag and you don't like it, I would let it go now because it's very popular at the moment. You can actually make money selling this bag. So yes, I would say that I've seen is at peak value now. I feel like it's at peak value now. It's selling for ridiculous prices. Contrary to that, the mini Her bag also sells for a premium, but I've noticed over the past month or so that is starting to sell for less and less, and I've noticed a lot of consignment stores have a lot of these in like a plethora of mini Her bags, and they're all listed above retail, but they're not selling. If you have a mini Garden Party and you don't like it, I would just let it go now while you can still make money on it, to be honest, because I think it's freakishly popular at the moment. And finally, I wanted to touch on Miu Miu bags because Miu Miu had a real moment the last year or so, particularly with the bow bag. I think this bag really took off on social media, and I think Miu Miu is still very much a trending brand among young people. Whereas, like, I would say, you know, 5 years ago, it really wasn't. And I would say at the moment, you can sell Miu Miu bags. They will sell for under retail, but it won't be like, you won't lose as much money on it, I think, if you, as opposed to if you waited a few years. If you have a bag like the bow bag, I still think that's a really hot bag, and if you don't like it, I would sell it now. I would not wait 3 years or so because I think it's not going to be in fashion anymore. So yeah, fashion is very fast, but you have to seize the moment to sell the bag when it's still popular. If you wait till it's out of fashion, it's just going to be a lot more difficult to sell, and you won't get as much money back for it. I'm not encouraging you guys to just like mindlessly sell all your bags. I'm just saying, if you own any of these bags I've mentioned today and you don't really like them, I wouldn't wait to sell them. I think there's always a time you notice that bags are more popular, that you can get more money for it, as opposed to if you wait. Anyways, just wanted to put that out there, guys, but thank you for watching my video today. Hope you enjoyed it. Please like and subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys really soon. Bye!